Welcome to another Hangout on Air. This week we're looking at word clouds. What I'll do is I'll dive straight in a moment and show you a number of different sites you can use to create word clouds. I thought the idea behind this little session, have a sip of tea, was to talk about how they could be potentially used with your students and with your colleagues. So let's bring up the first one. And as you, hopefully those who've watched previous ones will be familiar with the format now, we'll share your screen and we'll look at some of the word cloud sites that you can use. So the first one we're going to look at is called Sift, and they all do a similar sort of thing. But we'll start with Sift. Now, following on some feedback from people who have watched some of the previous Hangouts I've done on air, you'll find at the top there are 9 boxes. If you click on those, you can turn off the showcase if you're viewing via a small screen, and that will hide the showcase feature. You can also turn on the question feature if you want, and you can type in questions. I'll try and answer those as we go along, or I will answer them via the comment section at the bottom of the video. So just to recap, if you want to turn off the showcase item so you can see the full screen, click on the 9 boxes at the top of your screen, and then to switch off showcase, and that will allow you to see what's happening on the screen without any issues. So into the first site. So the first site is Sift, and the way that these work is that you paste all of your text into there, and having typed it all in, you then hit the Sift. It brings up this window and it presents your words in the way that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some text off a site and we'll paste it in there and have a look at what it looks like. Just grab some text, this will do. Copy the text. Go back to Sift, paste the text into there, and Sift. And you can see it's the words that appear multiple times appear large in the frame. What's nice about this one is it's linked to this visual thesaurus, which means it brings up words related to the words that you've got highlighted. So that's Sift. So what I've done is pasted the text in, and it's made the words that appear more frequently appear larger in the frame. So let's move on to number 2. So having done that, there's not a huge amount you can do with it. You've got them there. So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is Tagul. So it's tagul.com, and it's the same sort of format before. You need to log in. And as with most of these sites now, you can log in with either your Google account, your Facebook or Twitter account. So we'll just log in with my Google. It's always going to bring up this permission thing. That's all fine to accept. And then having got signed in, we can click Create New Cloud. And then click Import Words. So again, you can copy and paste. You can either do that from an Excel document or a .csv, or you can just copy the body of text from, as I have from a site, and paste it in. And then click Import Words. And then with this one, you've got the option of pasting the words into a particular shape. So let's go with the hand. You can also choose particular font types. I find that some of the fancier fonts, such as the ones which have sort of calligraphy in them, are harder to read. So you're better off going with a reasonably straightforward and simple looking font, something that isn't too wavy. So let's go with that one. You can then choose colors. The great thing about this site is you can add specific color codes. So if there's particular colors that you need to use in line with marketing departments or whatever, you can paste in the hex codes for those, or you can just choose any color that you want. You can choose the background color, and then you're ready to make. So if you click on the visualize button, in this case I've just gone with black, and you can see the words that appear more frequently appear larger. And you click save changes, and then you can share it. So you've got a variety of ways of sharing it. You can share it via social media. You can link to it, which means you get this interactive aspect, or you can email it, or you can download it as an image to place into a site or into a poster. So Tagul, nice and easy to use, greater functionality than Word Sift in that you can customize the shape and appearance that it displays in. You can change the color and the font of the text that's used to create it. So there is site number 2. So we'll go on to the third one. And again, you'll now notice there's a similar pattern appearing. We've got a box to paste text into. With this one, you've also got the ability to upload a file. So if you've got a Word document or PDF, upload that. You can likewise paste in a URL. So we're going to paste in the text that I had. And then again, we've got some options down the bottom of things we can change. And we click visualize. So there we have the pattern appearing. If we click save as, we can choose to HTML embed the image into a site or into a web page of sorts, or we can print the screen, or we can output it as a PDF. So a number of different options we can use to save our word cloud. So very quickly, I've gone through 3 sites that you could use to create word clouds. So now moving on to how can we use them? And there's a number of ways which you can use them. One of the ways which I think is quite interesting is using them in conjunction with Google Forms. So for those who are not familiar with Google Forms is like a Survey Monkey. It's an online survey. And what you do is when you got your responses gathered together, they're automatically put into a spreadsheet. So you have a summary of all of the responses that you've been given. You can copy the text in those responses, paste those into a word cloud. And because the way word clouds work, as we've already said, the words that appear most frequently appear largest in the word cloud. Very quickly, you've got a visual summary of the responses that you've had. So if you're using your Google form and your Google survey as a way of getting learner voice feedback, it's a very quick and easy way to see the general consensus of the feedback. The larger the words, the more often they were said, so you can get a sense of whether they were happy with what they're getting or whether they're unhappy. So using it as a way of getting a visual feedback from a form, such as a Google form or a survey, is a nice way of using it. Another way of doing it is getting the students to compile a Google Doc throughout a unit, listing the new words that they come across, and just mentioning, adding that new word every time they hear it, putting it into the document. And at the end, they can copy and paste all of the words they've entered into their document into a word cloud and get a nice word cloud that sums up the key vocabulary that they've been covering during their session. So a couple of ideas on how you can use it. You can also use it in posters. My 2 favorite poster sites at the moment are Pictochart and Canva. You can create your word cloud, which could be a way of introducing some themes that will be covered throughout the term. Drop that into your poster, maybe with a QR code to link to some resources or videos that relate to what you'll be talking about. So 3 ideas on how you can use word clouds and 3 sites that you can use to create them. I hope you found that useful. Join me again next week when we'll do something else. Thanks.